What if I told you that the difference between living to 75 and living to 105 is not your genes, not your medication, and not your doctor? What if the real difference is what you do in the first 5 minutes after you open your eyes every single morning? Stay right here, because what I am about to share with you is backed by real science, confirmed by real doctors, and it costs you absolutely nothing. A groundbreaking study published just weeks ago by researchers at the University of Sydney analyzed the habits of over 59,000 older adults. And what they discovered shocked the entire medical community. They found that tiny changes in your morning routine, changes so small most people laugh when they hear them, can add years, and in some cases decades, to your life. Dr. Eric Verdin, president of the Buck Institute for Research on Aging and professor of medicine at the University of California, San Francisco, said something that stopped doctors in their tracks. He said, and I want you to hear this clearly, most people today could expect to live to 95 in good health based on what we already know. When I tell this to people, they do not believe me. So, what is this 5-minute morning habit that is changing everything? It starts the moment you wake up, before you check your phone, before you make coffee, before you do anything else. The very first thing you do is drink one full glass of water. That is it, just water. Emily Johnston, a research professor at NYU Langone specializing in healthy aging, told Today in February 2026 that this single habit is her #1 recommendation above everything else for people who want to extend their health span. Not a supplement, not a medication, water, because overnight your body loses fluid while it repairs itself, and the first thing your cells need to begin functioning properly is hydration. When you give your body water first thing in the morning, you are activating your metabolism, flushing out overnight waste products, and signaling to every cell in your body that the day has begun and it is time to repair and renew. But here is where the 5 minutes really become powerful. Because after you drink your water, you do something that researchers at SuperAge confirmed is significantly more effective when done in the morning than at any other time of day. You do a 5-minute gratitude practice, not meditation, not journaling. Just 2 minutes of thinking about 3 things you are grateful for while you are still in bed or standing in your kitchen. This sounds too simple to matter, but the science behind it is extraordinary. Dr. Shai Efrati, a leading expert in brain health and longevity, told Fox News in January 2026 that a strong sense of purpose and positive emotional states are one of the most powerful and underestimated predictors of longevity. Studies show that people who practice gratitude and maintain meaningful pursuits have lower levels of chronic inflammation. And chronic inflammation, as your doctor will tell you, is the single root cause behind heart disease, cancer, diabetes, Alzheimer's, and virtually every other condition that shortens human life. When you reduce inflammation every single morning through a simple 5-minute practice, you are quite literally slowing down the biological aging process at the cellular level. The third part of this 5-minute habit takes only 60 seconds and it costs nothing. After your water and your gratitude, you stand up and you move your body. Not exercise, not a workout, just 60 seconds of gentle movement. Stretching your arms above your head, rolling your shoulders, walking to the window. Research from the University of Sydney found that adding just a few extra minutes of physical movement per day, even as little as a 5-minute walk at a moderate pace, could potentially reduce mortality risk by as much as 10%. 10% lower risk of death from just 60 seconds of movement after waking up. Now think about that compounded over 30 years of mornings. Here is the part that will really surprise you. Researchers found that morning habits are dramatically more likely to stick than habits started at any other time of day. The reason is biological. When you first wake up, your cortisol levels are naturally elevated, which actually improves focus and habit retention. Your morning has fewer distractions, your willpower is at its highest. The habits you build in the first 5 minutes of your day are the habits most likely to become permanent. And permanent habits are what add decades to your life. The Harvard study of adult development, one of the longest-running studies of human happiness and health in history, followed people for over 80 years. Dr. Robert Waldinger, its director and professor of psychiatry at Harvard Medical School, found that the people who aged the slowest and lived the longest were not the ones with the best genetics or the most money. They were the ones who consistently made small daily choices that supported their physical and emotional health. Morning by morning, day by day, year by year. Water, gratitude, movement, 5 minutes every single morning. That is the habit doctors are shocked more people do not know about. That is the habit that the research says can add not just years but healthy, active, joyful years to your life. You do not need to overhaul your life. You do not need an expensive supplement. You do not need a complicated plan. You need 5 minutes tomorrow morning. That is where your extra 30 years begins. If this helped you today, please like this video so more people can find it. Subscribe so you never miss these science-backed health secrets. And share this with someone you love who deserves more years of good health. Your best years are not behind you. They are waiting for you every single morning.